folks. This is Invest Now America. I'm your host, Corbin, and we brought back for a second time our young brother here, brother Yurt. Am I pronouncing that first name right?
Yes, Yurt. Yep, that's correct.
And he is. I think people are familiar with what we do, or a little familiar with him, and I've gotten such good feedback on the first interview you did with him. I definitely wanted to get him back again, and then brother, past week or so, maybe a little bit more. Daggone it, this daggone cryptocurrency stuff just took a nosedive. What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. I think it's similar to all the stuff with the market. I'm pulling up the prices right now just to look at it. Um, yeah, I think it's just similar to what's going on with the market. People are worried about inflation and just how fast everything's grown so far. Like tech last year, they're kind of getting nervous, pulling some money out of the market, regardless of what that be. And then there's been a couple things with like Janet Yellen, the Fed chairman, or sorry, not Fed chairman, it was Biden's appointment for the Fed. She was saying things about how they don't see crypto as being efficient, kind of just putting it down, saying some bad things about it, whether it's really true or not. Um, but so that was another big thing, was Janet Yellen was kind of dogging it. So that brought it down last week. So
So, why would she? I've heard some speculation that she was, as you put it, dogging cryptocurrency because the United States was planning on doing something else in that arena or something of that nature. Am I getting that right at all?
I'm not really sure. I didn't look into it that much when it happened. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So she's the Secretary of the Treasury. That's what it is. But yeah, she was just, well, and there was something real funny. It was they were calling it inefficient, and then the Treasury's website went down the next day because it was having issues with transactions or something like that. Um, so I just thought that was funny. But to answer your question, I'm not sure.
Right.
So
Yeah. I sometimes, sort of, because, of course, I heard what you said about what she said and all, dogging it up and all. And then all of a sudden I heard things like this major financial institution is looking at cryptocurrency. We're looking to invest in it. The one big thing that got me was that Charles Schwab was talking about trying to get involved or give people the opportunity to trade cryptocurrency. Is that right?
yeah, so a lot of the big brokers are trying to get, because I mean, there's money to be made there. Um, so where there's money to be made, these big corporations and banks are going to go after it. So yeah, these bigger companies, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, you're going to see them trying to get their skin in the game, on these crypto trading marketplaces. Because right now, you got the very specific ones. You got like Coinbase and Binance has their own trading platform, and a couple other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Bittrex is another exchange. So it's really concentrated. Like these companies that are doing it, they only do crypto exchanges. So
Hmm.
there's not a big company, mainstream company, financial company out there that's trading it. Really, the only one that I can think of is PayPal, but they don't do like banking and things. So they're in a payment sector, not really the financial sector. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So you say there's some, the big boys are sort of looking at it because there's a potential there for them to make some money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, I don't know, that this cryptocurrency has value. Is that making any sense?
yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Just kind of trying to figure out where that value is derived from, um, and that can be a difficult thing to really to find, because we see this number like it's at 48,000 something right now, I believe. Yeah, 48,800, and we see it's worth 48,800. Well, what's making it worth 48,800, right? That's where it's hard to explain. And right now, it's really just a lot of speculation on blockchain, what it's built on, um, and then a lot of it is just people purchasing it, right? When a bunch of people purchase a stock, it flies up. Same thing with Bitcoin. If it had like a $100 billion volume day, we'd see a much more than a 2% gain on it right now. It would be up 5% or something much higher. So a lot of it has to do with momentum, and speculation on what it can do down the road in the future. So
Okay, so you're saying speculation on what it can maybe do down the road. And what
right.
are some things that, I know you can't tell us for certain what it can do down the road, but could you speculate, for some of our folks, what are some things it could possibly do down the road?
Right. Yep. So the most applicable thing, so the biggest thing with Bitcoin, outside of just it as a cryptocurrency, is the fact that it's built on something called blockchain. Um, and blockchain is exactly what it sounds like. It's a chain of blocks, but I'll explain that a little more. So it's a database for storing data or information. And what it stores is mainly the transaction history of any crypto transaction that's on that blockchain. So the Bitcoin blockchain stores every single transaction. So it's a massive ledger, basically. Um, and and that is what they think has a lot of value in the long run. Is this technology? They can see it reaching into government, healthcare. I've seen people think charitable organizations because they need easy ways to transact money. Supply chain management, payment solutions, which we're kind of already seeing different companies accepting it as a form of cash. So it's kind of getting into that sector already. And I've even seen people mention it in gaming, things like that. So it can go all over. It has potential to go all over the place. So that's where a lot of the value, I think, people see it. They're like, well, they're going to need to use blockchain, so they're going to study Bitcoin, own Bitcoin, whatever. Um, so, and it's pretty interesting because the idea of blockchain itself has been around since the early 90s. It was never really implemented until 2004, and then didn't actually get used with crypto until 2009.
Hmm.
So it's a long time coming. People were thinking about it in 91, and we won't even see what it can do until another 10 years from now. So it's going to be a 40-year process for the culmination of blockchain, maybe more. So it will be really interesting to see what blockchain turns into. But that's what most people, when they say there's value in Bitcoin, that's what most people are talking about is the technology behind it. So that's probably the most dumbed down version of blockchain that I can give you, because it is
Sure.
confusing thing. It's almost more confusing than the crypto itself. So
I was also, I watch a lot of documentaries here and there on cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. And there is a rapper, I forgot what nation he comes out of. He's investing a lot of time, money, and effort into
is
coming
it
up with.
is it Acon?
Yes,
Acon?
yes, that's him. And what are some of your thoughts on that?
Just him investing his time into blockchain or Bitcoin. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Well, I definitely think when it's someone that comes from a position of I don't want to say power, but he's got recognition. People know who he is. He also has a good bit of money, so he has resources. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a good way to spread the knowledge of it, right? The awareness that it's out there and could have possible, you know, and the great potential to make things easier in all kinds of industries and all over the world. So I think I like to see big, not I don't want to say political, but social figures getting into it. I like when Elon Musk talks about it. I love that. I like to see Akon out there promoting it, and especially in other countries too, um, which is great. So I do like to see that. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a big step forward is when people that get a lot of airtime or FaceTime on shows and podcasts and social media when they're promoting it. I think that's great for crypto.
Mm-hmm. And one thing, that what's his name again? Acoin. I think that was it.
Akon, Akon, yeah.
Yes, AKO. and I noticed one thing it seemed like he was emphasizing is that how this, if it was properly developed, fully developed, how this could possibly help out, I guess what you call the little guy in developing nations. I didn't completely grasp that because it was like, you know, I guess if the little guy had like a phone and he could now do transactions directly with somebody in another nation. I mean, is that a possibility?
Yeah, so the big thing behind it, the big idea behind it, where they want to get it is that it's like, think about if you want to send someone money using PayPal, you got to make an account, you got to have a bank account or a card to um, put on the account to fund it, right?
Yes.
So there's different hoops to jump through. You're going through like 3 or 4 different companies by the time you transfer the account because the person you're sending it to might have a different bank. So it's kind of like you're dealing with all these corporations. So people in developing countries that might not even have a bank account can't, they can't Venmo you or PayPal you money. So the point would be blockchain. All it takes is an internet connection, right? So you get them a computer. If we can get them a computer, then they can transfer stuff on blockchain. They can transfer money, whatever it be,
Mm.
on blockchain. So yeah, so there is a lot of possibilities when it comes to those developing countries uh, being able to use this technology beneficially going forward. And as well as I know a lot of people like immigrants that come over to the United States, but their families remain in those countries. I know they like to wire money back, send money back
Yes.
to. And they're paying huge fees on these Western Union transfers and stuff like that. I mean, they might take 3%, 4% from you. So these would be ways to make those fees minuscule. There are still transaction fees on blockchain and
Mm-hmm.
crypto, but it's very small. It's always less than 1%. I've never seen anything
Mm.
on a transfer. So
Right.
it is very possible, yeah, and it could be very beneficial for developing countries.
I mean, as I'm sitting there thinking, listening to you, I'm saying to myself, well, my Lord, that really changes international trade too. I mean, if he's selling something, or if he's selling something to me, or I'm selling something to him, well, that really, I guess you might say, streamlines a lot of stuff.
Yep. It kind of gets rid of the need for all these brokers, so to speak. So like,
Hmm.
if you want to buy stock in the US, you have to go through a broker. You have to go through a company to buy that stock.
Hmm.
It's not the exact same, but this just kind of gets rid of that. You don't have to send your money somewhere. You don't have to talk to your bank to buy crypto. You don't have to go through Fidelity. So those kind of things, or to acquire the crypto. Um, so it removes that broker, so to speak, from
Hmm.
a lot of transactions, which the
So
middle.
you've almost become a bank unto yourself.
Exactly. You are. I mean, you have this decentralized bank account called a ledger or a wallet that everything's
Hmm.
kept on that nobody else can control. Nobody can dip into it and pull out a fee or something like a bank can. It's yours. They have to have your address, and that doesn't mean they can take anything from it because they
Hmm.
still have to verify, where they're going to send it to and all that. So even if they have your address, it doesn't mean they can take it. It just means they can send you stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's really a much safer way to maintain your money if you think about it, because people could hack bank systems, right? I mean, it's unlikely. We have pretty good cybersecurity, but it's possible for banks to get hacked and money to get transferred out of people's
Hmm.
accounts. So
So the bankless are now not only they become bank, but they become bankers,
yeah,
and which is really, don't let me say anything wrong here, but banking or access to banking is important as far as your development as an entrepreneur, your development as a society. You really sort of need banks, so to speak. Are they providing? Because you need banks because they're providing capital, or what? What's the importance of banks?
yeah, I would say the most important thing about banks is that they provide capital. The whole debt, being able to take out debt. Um, we know leverage is a huge piece of growing a business. It makes you be able to grow your business 2 times as fast, maybe sometimes more, when you can use someone else's money to do it. Now you got to be smart with it. Obviously, you don't want to owe the bank, more than you can pay back. But
Mhm.
yes, leverage debt can be a huge tool. Um, so that's probably the most important thing. But then, having a safe place to store your money. So, I mean, if everyone knew that people have safes in their house and that's where their money is, I mean, you see people getting robbed all the time, right?
Right, right.
So it creates a sense of financial organization. Everything's kind of like nice and everything's in order and sound.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about losing physical cash when it's sitting in your bank account or getting
Right.
robbed or anything like that.
Wow. Wow. That's something. Brother, we're gonna need to wrap it up as usual. I learned so much in listening to you, and I think that's one reason why my listeners really enjoy hearing from you. But I also just wanted to ask again. I know you'd answer this in the first interview. What sort of got you interested in cryptocurrency?
So funny thing was when I was a sophomore in college, I think I hit on it briefly in the last interview. There was that's when that first, I guess it could have been the second, that second big crypto boom was, and everybody was getting interested in it. So me being a college kid with maybe $1,000 to my name, probably less, uh, I I was like, heck, I got to make, I need more money. So I bought like 2 or 3 Litecoins at the
Hmm.
time, and I think I bought them for 40 or $50, and
Oh my lord!
they went up to 300 and something, and I sold them. So that
Wow.
was what got me. It hooked me right away. I got lucky. I mean, I could have bought them when they were 200 and when it was on its way back down, and lost
Right.
money. I got lucky with it. I knew nothing about it at the time. But that's what got me into it. So after that, I sort of researched it for a while. Um, then everything went dead with it. There was nothing going on for a year or so there. And then I graduated and got into where I am now, and then it started blowing up again. So it was perfect timing. Right when I got into my job, it started blowing up again, and kind of rekindled that
Hmm.
interest in it. So
Hmm. And of course, I want to say to folks, the purpose of this interview, we're just providing education. We're not telling people to buy crypto or anything like that. Obviously, you want to do your research, and then, of course, if you have a financial advisor, consult with your financial advisor. Yeah, I had a similar experience in that I think PayPal started offering some cryptocurrency that you can buy. I left it alone. And the next thing you know, when I checked it again, I thought they had mistakenly put some extra money in my account. It had grown that fast. So I said, well, I guess I need to pick up some books and start doing some reading.
yeah,
And it was fascinating. As I was like you, man, I got hooked there. But when I really started reading more and more about it, as you said, the potential. This is what really got me. I've done a lot of travel in African nations, and I just so when they talked about with cryptocurrency. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I quite literally could be in a country like, let's say, Nigeria, and there's somebody in Canada, and they could send me Bitcoin, or I can send them Bitcoin. And
yep. Anyway, just need an internet connection.
wow.
Gotta know. You just gotta. It's basically they have what's called an address, a wallet address, and it's basically just a
Hmm.
code that lets them know that that's there. It's basically like their bank account number for their
Hmm.
wallet, and then you just send it on over to them.
Right.
And it takes with Bitcoin, it takes minutes, not even it takes seconds to actually transfer, and then minutes to confirm it. So like five
Hmm.
minutes later, it'll confirm it, and you'll have them. So very
Hmm.
quick. So
So, part of my frustration, I was doing a lot of travel within the Southern African region. I'd be like, man, I got these Zimbabwean dollars, and outside of Zimbabwe, they were worth next to nothing. Heck,
right,
within Zimbabwe, they weren't worth much of anything. So I said, man, it'd be nice if there was this a currency that could be, easily and quickly exchanged
yeah.
without it losing value. And that was really something. Brother, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna be in touch now. We got you scheduled for March 20th, right?
Yes. Yep.
And
Uh,
what we do at that time, we do our we do twice a month. We have some people come together here at my office and sit down. We talk about different things, related to making money, managing money, and multiplying money. And everybody wanted to do something on cryptocurrency. So you be coming on at about 11:30, and they just be asking you some questions, some thoughts. So we're looking forward to that, man. And I appreciate you taking out the time, taking time out of your busy schedule to educate us, man. Really appreciate that.
Yep, no problem at all. I enjoyed doing it. So,
All right, brother. This is we're going to conclude this interview. This is Invest Now America. I'm your host, and folks, stay tuned. We've got a heck of a lot more stuff coming up in the future.